What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and I am live, as I mentioned earlier today. Going to do some NCAA Next Mod stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get set up on a few things while some people come in. Let me go and tinker, make some adjustments. Let me go back here. Let's see. Subscribers, so we'll do 10 minutes. Let's see, save. Next we got, so I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to close. Welcome in 9. You don't look familiar. You may have commented in the past, I don't remember. Either way, welcome in Lavaris. I may have messed up your name there. I'm sorry if I did. But we'll give people just a little bit of time, but then I'm going to just fool around with some cool things. We'll just see how this goes. Yeah, thanks, Brandon. I guess it takes 1,000 videos to get halfway decent with this stuff, I guess. I guess it comes down to practice. All right, we got a handful of people coming in. That's good. So what we are going to do is okay, good deal. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just tinker with the mod, just a handful of the features it has. And I'm going to look at rosters. It's just been a while because, as I mentioned in the community post earlier today, I'm going to start up a dynasty in the next few days. I got some thinking to do about that. Yeah, that was doing the ace offense back with Yale. That was a lot of fun. That's a pretty good offense. So what we're going to do is I want to start off with looking at playbooks. Now, there's really nothing to see here. One of the changes they made was now I can go over to the goal line slot, which is the 10th slot, and I can adjust this to however I wish, which I think is really cool. Now, one thing I am going to do, I haven't set up my offense for the new dynasty. I'll deal with that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to look at some rosters and kind of get an idea of maybe what I want to do. But otherwise, offensively, I kind of have that on the back burner. I'll figure that out. But I just want to make sure all this is correct. But anyway, the 10th slot, I can now adjust that. I think that's really cool. This gives me 10 formations to play with because everybody who's seen me play, I don't use goal line a whole lot. So you don't have to have goal line. That is correct, Steven. I can change this to whatever. For example, I can put, since this is all shotgun, I'll just pretend like I'm sticking with this playbook. I'm going to go gun 5 wide, and boom, there it is. So I can go ahead and save that. I've already uploaded I think this is my version 5 of my playbook file. Another cool thing, I don't know if anybody's seen this. Hopefully this doesn't freeze on me. I'm going to go do this. You notice right here's a really cool addition. I didn't ask for this or anything, but Josh or JD Halfrack, he done this for me. He put my website in the game, playbookgamer.com. I just think that's a really cool thing. I'm glad I can help people out any way I can with this stuff. So I thought that was just really neat. Yeah, Steven, I don't use goal line a whole lot. There are other things you can use that's better and more fun, but it just kind of depends on the situation. So that's a cool thing. Another thing is if you go, okay, while we're here, I'm just going to go to the roster. Now, this mod, by default, has the 2022 rosters. So here's Tennessee out of the gate. Boom, there's Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, and so on and so forth. And that's really neat. I didn't have to upload or load up any rosters. They're already built in. But this is a big thing for me. And these are brand new teams. I'm so used to playing original 06 and knowing, okay, I know what this team runs. I know what roster they have. Now I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store. Like when I'm starting a new dynasty, I can just go in here and just kind of look around and see what they have, especially with 1A rosters. And this is another thing they've updated with the 1A rosters. Here is Texas State. In the original game, Texas State is an FCS school. Now they're an FBS school in real life. So now I can treat them as a 1A roster and use them as such. I just think that's just really cool. So just wanted to point that out. But in time, I'm not going to do a lot of that today. But what I am going to do probably tomorrow or Saturday is just go through a lot of these teams and just kind of get a feel of what I kind of want to do. Oh, they've updated the colors for Tulane. Awesome. This used to be like a darker green, I think. Now they've changed it to blue. That's really nice. I'm glad they've done that. Either way, that's what I plan on doing. And I'll, in the first preseason video, you'll know exactly what I'll be doing schematically, which team and whatnot. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but we'll see what happens with that. But either way, just really cool. Another example, not UConn. Where's another one? I know Coastal Carolina. They have added them in the 1A or in the FBS ranks, and there they are. There's Coastal Carolina, and their uniforms look pretty cool as well. I looked at them earlier, and I'm now using the latest texture pack as well. I haven't updated that thing in a long time. I was using an older one and just kind of adding on to it. So now I got all the latest textures to go with this as well, which is again, pretty cool. So I will deal with all that in due time. Now, one thing I will mention before we move on from the rosters is I don't know how the Dynasty mode is going to handle this, but you notice there are not many fullbacks on this roster list, and that's because fullbacks aren't used a whole lot in a lot of spread offenses. So what they done was they took the NCAA 14 rosters and moved them over here, which is like the smartest way to do it. But you got to remember, you don't need fullbacks in a lot of those offenses, so you don't see a whole lot of fullbacks here. Many of these teams don't have it. Some of them do, the ones that actually use a fullback. For example, here's Georgia Tech. They still got some fullbacks. I guess those are carryover. Iowa, they still run traditional pro-style stuff. Just a really cool thing. But either way, I wonder how Dynasty's going to handle that when on the back end, pretty much every single, even spread offenses, the game requires you to have a minimum of one. And I've told that. I may have told that to Android, maybe the JD Half Rack, but it would be good if they can switch to spread offense play type to where there's no fullbacks whatsoever. Like you're not required to have a single fullback. That way, there won't be a complete run-on of fullbacks in recruiting. So I'm curious to see how that'll handle out, or how that will handle itself once we get into Dynasty. So I wanted to show you that. That's pretty cool. Next thing, and I got the list, I wanted to go over to settings. This was probably the big gameplay addition. They added it on Easy Play. I've never used Easy Play because it's meant to be easy, and we all want to try to make this difficult and challenging, all that good stuff. But it's the accelerated play clock, and this is what I'm going to test out just a little bit today. I think I'm going to play a full quarter. I just need to get a sense of how long one quarter lasts me, because I still want to have my games to be about an hour long. And from what I've read, 17-second accelerated play clock is pretty good to go along with like a 15-minute quarter. So we're going to test that out here in a little bit. But there it is right there. But you got to have Easy Play turned on in order to do this. And you got to, I'm going to turn all these off. I don't need any assists. But I do want to have the play clock on, and I want the penalties on. So that's what I want right there. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And again, I think what I want to do is just go into a game. I'll go ahead and do that now. And I want to play like one quarter. And I can go ahead and show you what my settings are. If you go over back to settings, you go over to gameplay. Right now, I'm going to test this on 15-minute quarters. I'm curious to see how long a 15-minute quarter is going to last me with this accelerated. I want injuries on. I need that on. 15 minutes are going to be, handle. Everything else I kind of want on. There's one other thing. We got to go over to penalties, and you got to make sure offsides is turned on as well. If you turn on Easy Play, offsides is automatically turned off. So you got to make your adjustments on Easy Play. Then you kind of come over here and turn that back to on. Now we're going to save it. And now we're going to go into an exhibition game. And I'm just going to just play one in a quarter, and we'll just see how that goes. So I need to set up my timer while I'm here. Now's a good time if anybody has any questions. I'm not really looking at the chat too hard, and I should be. Do they have North Dakota State and other FCS teams? I don't know about the FCS part. I'm pretty sure what they did do was any team that wasn't an FBS team in the original game is now an FBS team. So we can go ahead and look. I can just go ahead and show you. Go to FCS roster. I am like, this is really weird. Somebody may have to answer this for me. Like, they had to take out some teams. I think there's like a limit of FBS teams you can have. I could be dead wrong on that. Either way, there's like Akron. There's like nobody there. I'm going to go over to South Dakota or North Dakota State. Now, these are my rosters that I've had forever. Yeah, North Dakota State isn't in there, so that answers your question. And I wasn't expecting it to be in there, But fully expect the FBS teams to be updated. Maybe in time they'll get around to doing FCS updated rosters. I don't know how they're going to do that. That would be really hard because I don't know where you're going to get that information. But either way, that's just something to think about for them down the road. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go to play now. I'm going to be Tennessee. It's been forever since I've used Tennessee for anything. I'm going to go ahead and take on, it doesn't really matter. Let's just take on like TCU. That'll be interesting. We'll go here. I want to go just custom. That's fine. We will use my, I want to look at the uniforms. Let me look at some things. So this is our traditional. I want to look at the alternate. We can do the black. That's pretty neat. And the all orange. I'm going to do the all, let's do the black ones. Now, let's throw some orange in there. Let's do the all orange. And let's look at TCU. It doesn't matter. What we're looking at here is the accelerated play clock. So let's just do that. So we're going to do that. I need to set up my timer. And so that way I kind of have an idea of how long it takes for me to... I'm going to go ahead and go straight to the coin toss, all that good stuff. I'm going to receive. That's fine. Sometimes you can make it on how to get creative players you created and creative... Let me read this again. Sometime can you make a tutorial video on how to get creative players you create and create a player to... I'm having trouble getting them in. I think you've asked me that before, and I don't fool with road race to the Heisman. I think they just won't let you at all. I could be dead wrong. I'm not really the person to ask because, again, I don't use that mode hardly ever, but I can test that out later, and I can let you know. So what we're going to do, I need to set up my timer. I'm going to get out of here. I just need something to work with. Let me go to... Oh gosh, where's it? It's my alarm. Is that what it is? I haven't used this clock. Alarm. I want timer. I want a stopwatch. That's what I want. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm not even looking at rosters or anything. So we are going to... I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. Now I'm just curious to see how long a quarter is going to last me. Then I can adjust accordingly. It may take me several games to do this, to make that adjustment, to get a feel of what I want, get realistic stats and everything. So we're going to give that a shot. So let's just go ahead and let's just pick something. Doesn't matter. Let's go. We'll use my traditional spread stuff at the moment. They're going zone. I forgot they run a 4-2-5. That's another thing we've updated is their playbooks. Like they match a little bit better. Good catch. Small. They match a little bit better with the current rosters as it was before. So the pro-style offense Tennessee ran in 05, they're using a spread offense now. At least they're supposed to be. I'll just run my typical offense I ran with Buffalo just to give me something going. So that clock is going. That's pretty cool. They also add, you notice this, they added the ranking for that team as well. That's really cool. Let's go over here. I want to stay in bounds. I'm just curious to see how this clock is going to work. We can stay here. We can go. Let's use one of these newer formations. I want to go. Let's do motion wide receiver option. So that clock is. I'm just curious to see how it's going to go down, how quickly it will be. They're going man, I think, on this one. I'm going to keep this. We'll pitch it. Brew McCoy, can you get it first? Maybe close. That gets me out of bounds, but I think the clock's going to accelerate. I forget what the clock rules are these days. I think it's going to keep going. But yes, you see a jump. It went down 17 seconds. So that's pretty neat. So I can't tell who's on who. Okay, cover 0. We're going to go to Jalen Hyatt. Ooh, that's a terrible throw. I hit the button way too hard. I hit the button as hard as I possibly could. That was stupid. So right now the clock is already at 12:52. That's what? That is 2 minutes gone just like that. So that's interesting. I guess we're sticking with my 4-2-5. I didn't really mean to do that. Let's go 4-3. I don't even know what they run. It doesn't matter. Again, I'm just looking to see how long this takes me. There's a couple things I'm gonna switch out and whatnot. That's texture stuff I gotta fix. Yeah, Alex, it should. I agree. And I guess it depends on how much you're going to use in terms of your quarter length and stuff. Again, that's just something I got to figure out. Somebody get a stop on him. Uh-oh. He may be gone. Wow, that was a terrible. Can he get it? Oh, shoestring. So what happened there? I got to look at this. We went cover 2. Just a good block. Yeah, just great blocking across the board. Just a good play. So where's the clock at now? It's already at 12:07. I think it's incomplete passes. Passes that go out of bounds. And of course, you know, like incompletions and stuff like that. I know you recently upgraded the 4070. Think it's worth the price? Yeah, sure. What I had before, it's all depending on what you had before. And I needed something better. Could I tell a huge difference? Yeah, a little bit. But maybe not with a PCS X2 emulator. I would know a whole lot more once I got, like, the latest. I'm ready for Starfield to come out. I don't play any really high-end games on my PC at the moment, but that's going to change. That's when I'll really see the difference. But I had a good deal on that graphics card. I got it for like $550. It was around Thanksgiving, so they had a good sale on it. 3rd and 1. Let's just pick. Let's go nickel. It don't matter. 49. And I'm also going to look at the stats and see how many plays, because if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure I was averaging about maybe 50 to 60 plays a game, the way I was playing. Let's see. So we're going to 1070. Works for if you can make the. That's what I had was a 1070. More power to you if you can keep it going. Now I'll say this: the emulator doesn't need a whole lot of superpower compared to like a AAA game. That was a good hit. I think it's great to see people keep these great games live in the emulation of mods. Welcome in, Ellison. Your name doesn't look familiar, so if you're new, welcome in. 2nd and 9. We'll do quarters. It doesn't matter. I love seeing these new players. Awesome. There's Tank McCullough. That's awesome. Karan Garland. They're kicking my butt at the moment. Of course, this was the national runner-up, so I guess this is doable. That's a whole new thing, just a whole new team, schemes, all that good stuff. And once we're done with this, I got to look at my list. We're going to go over to Dynasty mode, and that's where the real fun is in terms of some of the new things they've added. I'm going to control somebody else. I think I was late on that one. Max Duggan got hurt, injured his back. What screen resolution are you playing at? The highest one possible, whatever it is, to the 1080p. Is that what you're asking? 2nd and goal. We'll do quarters again. That's another thing you notice there are no impact players. They're in the game. It's just they get added halfway through the season, and then they go away, so they reset themselves. So it's kind of like an even playing field, if that makes sense. So that's why you don't see any impact players at the beginning. I'll control Barron. I went on the inside. I should have went out. All right, we're going to force a field goal. Who's your favorite Tennessee team? What's my favorite? Okay, 8. So the clock is already halfway through in this quarter, and I'm only 6 minutes in. That's pretty good. My goal was to have this at 15-minute quarters anyways. I just love the idea of playing full 15-minute quarters. So they kick their field goal. We'll get on offense. We'll see if we can score. Keeping my current dynasty on the new version. All my rosters went empty, so I'm going to start from scratch.
Everyone's all lined up and ready for the kickoff.
I haven't looked at much of the new texture stuff they've been working on the last few months. I know they've added a few things, but I haven't looked at it too hard. They got Brew McCoy playing special teams. I love Brew, but he's not a special teams returner. Let's go here, and let's go. I want to pick a play I haven't played. Oh, I'm going to go scissors in. And they're going man, nickel. I'm going to try to hit that deep dig. Well, not anymore. He's getting double team, so that ain't going to happen. They're going cover 1. I think I'm going to hit Princeton Fan over the middle. Good little dig, a little in route. Nice little play there. I want to go. No, I'm not going to do that one yet. We'll do halfback dive. Max Dugan's out 3 weeks, or Duggan, whatever his name is. So they're going man dime. The clock is doing its thing. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go to the outside here. Jabari Small, that's a face mask. Call it. Yeah, you should go with the 15-minute clock from now on since it's going so fast. It seems like it is. Now, I can adjust the accelerated play clock easily, But I think going forward 15 minutes is going to work out really well. So I'm just curious to, we'll finish at the quarter and we'll look at some stats. Biggest thing I want to see is how many plays I was able to get off for both teams. Welcome in, T. Walker 4. I wasn't paying attention. I think they're going man. Everybody and their brothers moving around. So let's try. Yeah, they're going man. We'll go back to Fant. He was a great player. Fant, we're going to miss him this year. I think we're going to be okay, but he was such a great utility player for us this season. Very underrated. Let's go. Let's just run a speed option. I'm curious to... Yep, there goes the clock. Cool. That's really neat. We'll go to the right. That's fine. Get a block or two. I think I'm going to keep it with triple double H there. Oh, Hondo. Oh, number 5. Could have won the Heisman if he didn't get hurt. Let's do a PE read. You're blowing teams out. It could get boring. Maybe, but if it's the same amount if it still takes me an hour to complete a game, then it's not going to make a difference. If that makes sense, like it won't make a difference. That's the biggest thing I want to say. I just don't want to make sure that these 15-minute quarters don't make a 2-hour game, and I don't think it's going to. At least I hope not. Let's go trips. Let's do another PE read.
2nd and 1, and this is the 6th play of the drive.
Right now I'm like a little under 10 minutes. So actually these will go by quicker if you think about it. So these games may go even quicker, which I'm sure some people wouldn't mind seeing slightly shorter videos. It's a good play there. We can stay here. Let's do a QB choice. TCU's got some pretty cool uniforms. They're going zone nickel. Let's keep it with the quarterback. Let's see what happens. I think it was my center, Cooper Mays, got destroyed. Nope, it was my left guard. Just got beat badly. I had a second on something. I found 9-minute quarters with 20-second play clock was ideal for me, getting 100 plays a game on average. That's not bad. I'll have to remember that. That's, again, it may take me 5 or 6 games to get what I want out of it in terms of this play clock. Hopefully I can figure it out sooner enough. I'm not worried about how long it's going to take me. I just want to make sure it gets to where I want it to be. And then leave it there and be good with it. 3rd and 14. Let's go halfback corner. The clock is... Yeah, that's cool. They're going zone. I will try to hit... I'd love to hit small on that against a cover 3, but they're going cover 2. That's intercepted. I got hit as soon as I threw it. Yeah, I got hit when I threw it. Oh, well, no big deal. So where's the clock at now? 2.5. I'm at 2. I'm at a little over 10 minutes. Let's go with a cover 2. Discord when you get a chance. Forgive me if I may have to go back and look at your chats a little bit later. Again, forgive me, I'm trying to... Let me read this really quick. Let's go ahead and stop it. Let me just read it. Okay, thanks for the commit. Report back to me on Discord when you get the chance. Whatever happened to your PS2 roster, max files, maybe Vault. You go to my shop, and it's that first link at the top. That's where they're all at. I had to take them out just for shop purposes. So go to the shop and go to the very first link. Took me a few games figuring out a couple of... Oh, yeah, I got that clock going. My bad. A couple days ago, you posted you lost interest in playing Dynasty. What changed? People changed their minds, you know. It happens. I just needed a boost. I just needed a break and just couldn't figure out my purpose with Dynasties. That was the biggest thing. And somebody reminded me that running a Dynasty is like the best way for me to show you how I do a lot of different things in one area, one spot, as opposed to doing a video on recruiting or a video on offense or a video on this. You can kind of see my whole system going at once. So that and the mod. I completely forgot that about the mods. I just went ahead and I thought this maybe give me enough motivation to play some more. 1.5. There we go. That's terrible defense. Why am I running a 4-2-5? My defense ain't set up for it. So hopefully, Alex, I answered your question. But again, people change their mind. You wake up some days, you just feel like doing things, you know. 1st and 10. I'm gonna go back. Let me go back here. Let's do quarters. So it looks like about 15 minutes on these, or more than likely, maybe a little bit under. Good stop by Thomas. Big old Maury Thomas. I'm glad he's back for us this year. Second, let's go here. Let's do cover 2.
7 coming up here. And this is the 5th play.
So the quarter is about over.
The Horned Frog come out in the ace formation. On the ground with a tailback. He can scoot.
They're running the ball pretty good on us. So it's getting an interesting idea would be to create a team using mods as a cupcake and build it up. I have no desire to create a team whatsoever, Alex, because I got 130 brand new teams with this new mod. So having a new creative team to go with that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. I wanted, the whole point of the mod is using, you know, all the new rosters. And that's what I want to do. All right, that is the end of the first quarter. Let's look at some stuff. Okay, so I got to stop it. So it's like a 13-minute when I was talking there earlier. So it took me about 13 minutes. So that gets about under an hour. So that's about normal for me. So that's going to work out. So I had 16 plays. They had 13. So what's, you know, 15? That gives about 60 plays. So I'm going to keep it at 15 minutes. And then I'll adjust the accelerated play clock if I think it needs to be quicker, slower, whatever. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But I kind of like where it's at. I'm definitely going to keep it at 15 minutes, and I'll fool with the rest of that stuff later. All right. That's all I needed to know there. So let's back out. Now we're going to look at some Dynasty stuff. Let me see. The college football playoffs, I can see them up to that point. That may be kind of boring. Expanded playbooks, I showed you that. Play clock. The game clock rules, yes. The league structure, that's another thing. We'll go ahead and save it. That's fine. One thing I was going to show you, let me go to that. Is it on here? Yes, it is. So what we're going to do, let me just go to a screen where I ain't going to do anything. So here's what it is. Hopefully everybody can see this. I'm going to zoom in as best I can. I'm going to zoom in. Something like that will be good. I know this may be not the easiest thing to see, but either way, it gives you, when you install and create the mod, you get two options of league structure. I didn't read super hard the difference between the two, like the why behind it, but technically you got the 23 version, you got the 23.5. I'm pretty sure I selected this one. Apparently this is the more realistic option, and somebody can maybe tell me what that is. Let's see, another mod tweak is all new recruits have corrected body size value, no more skinny line. Yes, people, when we go to Dynasty mode, remind me of some of that stuff, and I'll try to remember to look at that. But either way, I went with this one right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back over. We're going to go over to Dynasty mode. Let's go over to game modes. Let's go to Dynasty mode. And let's just start with a brand new Dynasty. Now, here's a really cool thing. They went ahead and added the names of the real coaches. So here's Josh Heupel. He's already in there. I don't know if they probably didn't. Yeah, they even updated what he looks like. That's pretty cool. They gave him the hat, that he wears the hat. Sometimes he's got a little goatee. That's pretty cool. Now, he's a little bit heavier, on the heavier side, if you know what I mean. But either way, I thought that was really cool. But, of course, you're probably going to create your own coach anyways. But I thought that was just really neat that they done that. Now, this is one thing. I don't know if they were willing to update. That should be a simple thing, is change this to the 2021 record or the 2022 whenever the 23 stuff comes out. Welcome in, Castle. Haven't heard from you in a while. I just went through some. You can go back and look at it later, but I just went through some of the smaller things with the mod. We're fixing to do Dynasty stuff. So that's one thing they may want to update. Now, here's what I was wanting to show you here. If you go over to, if you're going to create, like there's that South Dakota State team I created a long time ago. What I wanted to show you was the updated conferences. Actually, we could probably do that. Okay, let's do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and we'll just control. We'll be Tennessee. No big deal. I'll speed this up. And we can do it from the Sports Illustrated point of view. I didn't think about that. This is really neat. Some of the cool things they've added. Like, they've updated the magazine. Apparently, they got new descriptions and the new thing. I rarely read those, but either way, I think that's pretty cool that they updated that. They got the year put in. If you go over to, I wanted to go to, let's see, if using Auburn, Cam Newton playbook for the Dynasty, I actually ran a lot of that, kind of sort of the Buffalo, so I don't know if I'll do the same thing. Let's go over to, what was I going to do? Let's go over to Athlon Sports. Here's what I was wanting to show you. Go over to Conference Outlook. And again, these are the new conferences. So you go over to the SEC, and here's the East. There are 7 teams in the East. Now there are 7 teams in the West. That's really neat. Now, I think they combined, like here's the Sun Belt. So there's Coastal Carolina, Georgia State. They're new. Appalachian State is now an FBS team. Things like that. Sun Belts. Yeah, they got an East and a West now, which is really neat. before. I think in the original game there isn't one. ACC, all 14 teams should be in there, which they are. Ooh, they did not split them up, which I thought was interesting. Maybe they did. Either way, you go over to the Big Ten. Now I like what they've done. The B1G. Then you got all 14 should be in there, and they are. You got the East and the West. Oh yeah, the ACC doesn't have the divisions anymore. They updated that. That's real cool. Good job, whoever thought of that. Castle, did you watch any of my Buffalo? Oh, my Buffalo Dynasty is probably not the best example. We didn't do hardly any triple option. I mean, I done QB choice. That was kind of like the gist of it. That was more Chip Kelly stuff than Gus Malzahn, what I did there. But here's the Big 12. You know, there's Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and Texas. So here in about a year, the next guys, they're going to switch this over. Texas and Oklahoma, I'm assuming they're going to move them over to the SEC. Things like that. So they've updated a lot of this. Now, some of these are a little off. They had to switch some teams around to make it realistic, or was able to get some guys in. Yeah, I know you'd watch the SMU Dynasty just because I ran a little option. But here's Liberty and Conference USA. I'm pretty sure they're not a Conference USA team. Northern Illinois, I think they're still a MAC team, but I think they had to move them down for something. I don't know the answers to all that. But either way, I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to show you that. The next thing, let me go over look at my list really quick. Let me zoom back out. Go 110. Next thing was the recruiting. This is going to be an interesting thing. You go to in-season recruiting. They got new textures. I mean, that's obvious. You see all this stuff right here. Here's what's really neat. They have added 1 and 2 star players to in-season recruiting. They've also added kickers and punters. So if I go to L2, there's punters. And guess what? You keep on going down. And then you eventually get down to 1-star punters. You go to other positions. You go all the way down here. Scroll down. 2 stars, 1 star. So there they are. So that's good. That gives you incentive as a really rank-a-dink school at the very beginning to use in-season recruiting. You're not forced to use the recruit 3-star kids. So that's a really cool addition because in-season recruiting's fun. It's just another aspect of the game, but we kind of had to work around it depending on what your situation was. But anyway, I think that's really cool. Now, somebody mentioned that they have realistic body weights and such for certain positions. So let's go over to, I think, halfback was one I know they really worked hard on. Yes, well, race, you mentioned this. I actually think they combined them. If you go to their website, they kind of describe what they've done with some of those conferences and such. What's your Duke Dynasty game where you played Texas and it was a crazy and great stuff? Yeah. Can you recruit athletes in season? No, you cannot. I'll go ahead and show you this now, unless I missed it. There's all. You got all your basic positions. It's kicker, punter, then it's targeted, then it's also, you can't do athletes in season. So go over to halfback. You look at some of the weights for some of these guys. 5'11", 190, 6'2", 208. That's going to be about the average, 5'10", 200. And they've done some research on this, and I thought it was really neat. So you're not going to, now, I will say this, the halfback position, they were pretty normal across the board in terms of their size. To begin with, there wasn't too many crazy outlandish body types compared to like wide receiver. I don't think you're going to see many 6'8" receivers. Like they still got a 6'6" guy in there, which is common. There's still, I mean, here's a 6'7", but maybe not as many. But either way, okay, 6'8", 210, that's good. Biggest thing they've done here, though, there's not as many duplicated players. If you remember in regular season and in the off season, you'll see 2 guys that are exactly the same. They got the same 40 time, the same height, the same weight. That's no longer in here, which I think is good. They've just pretty much made more variety out of the players. They've also updated the names. They've added newer, more modern names. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this last name before. Hubenek, I could be dead wrong. Marcellus, Jameson, Spencer, DeWan, Tara. I'm not going to say, I don't want to offend anybody. Trinelius Fina. That's how you say it. Either way, an incredible name. I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the original game. So I think that's really cool. But anyway, that's part of the regular season. I just wanted to show you the 1 and 2 star stuff. And you can recruit kickers or punters. That's going to be a good time if you think about it. This is a perfect time to get your kicker and get that out of the way so you don't have to spend off-season points trying to go get a kicker whenever you need one. So, okay, they added some smaller halfbacks and wide receivers to the recruits. Yeah, and you're right. You go back to the wide receiver front, there are more smaller ones. Like, here's a little 5'11", 175 kid. Tight end, I wonder... they probably didn't change too much with that. I always thought that was kind of realistic. One thing I did suggest, I don't know if they've done it, is defensive tackles. One of the reasons why you never saw me use hardly any 3-4 defenses is because there weren't enough big defensive tackles in this game. They still may not be here. I could be dead wrong. Right now, I'm seeing a bunch of 280-plus guys. That tells me they didn't do that. So that's something they may work on later on. 318, a lot of these guys are under 300 pounds. But I can go ahead and tell you there's a lot bigger defensive tackles out there. So maybe they will do that down the road. I don't know. I'm sure it's not as simple as just, hey, let's just boost everybody up by 28 pounds or whatnot. But that's just something I was curious about. There are even some hyphenated names. There probably was, and I wasn't paying attention. That's pretty cool. Middle linebackers. I don't know if there'd be any other positions that were really off kilter. There's a lot more. Oh, those are free safeties. I want to go here. Corners. There's a lot more taller ones. Thank the Lord, we need taller corners. That's pretty cool. You know what? I think that's a really neat thing. Just another little thing they've added. I do not. I'm going to get out of that. What else? Let me look at my list. Game fixes. FBS, FCS, missing roster setup, team swapping. Week 0 shows ends in simulation menu. Here's another thing. You go over to schedule. There, at minimum, you got 12 games. So out of the gate, right now, everybody in the world in the college football plays 12 games at the FBS level. In 06, the original game, you had 11. You could do up to 12. It was the year after where they made it officially. Everybody's got to play 12 games. But here, I have exactly 12 games. I got 4 there, and I have 8 right there. So there you go. Team schedule. I'm just going to check something. That's preseason options. So if you go over to custom schedule, it still says schedule up to 4 non-conference games, but by default, it will always give you 12 games. So that has been updated, which is really good. Redshirting players, I don't think there'll be anything new there. Hopefully everybody knows that if you don't redshirt somebody, but they don't play at all, don't record a stat, the game redshirts them for you. So that's just a little tidbit there. Something I always forget. Added player jersey names for various schools. Player jersey names. Oh, that's right. So on the back of the jersey, some teams have names on the back, which is pretty neat. I also think you can add, I'll show you. I think you can use 0 as a number. So let's go over to like Hendon Hooker, player info. Somebody may already have this. I could be dead wrong. There you go. You can also do double numbers, which means you can have a number 0 on one side of offense and a 0 on the other side. So if I move him back to 5, now this may be a bad example. Let me go to 0 instead. Let me do 0 here. And let me go over to like a cornerback, somebody on defense. I'll go over to a D. Williams. I'll go to player info. I could do 0. So that's been updated. So now you see, college teams do it all the time. You got everybody wants those single digit numbers and the double, the 10 through a 19. Now you can have a 0 on each side, a 5 on each side, so on and so forth. So that's really cool. I'm going to go, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to say this anyways. So that's a positive. Here's another thing. I don't know what this is. Somebody be able to answer this for me. If you go to right here, some of these players already got a +1. I don't know what that is, but it's in there. But like I said earlier, halfway through your dynasty, you're going to get new impact players, but it's going to reset itself because as you can see here, there are no impact players on any team, which is pretty cool. I think that's a neat addition, but at least they'll still kind of be in there towards the end of the year. What else is there? I wanted to go... I don't want to... It would take me forever. Maybe not. I was going to show you off-season stuff. I'm trying to think what has changed. What we can do, we can look at... Hopefully this will work. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me. I don't think it will. But if I go all the way out to simulate the season, this may take forever. And if it does, I may just cancel it. But anyway, I wanted to see what the playoff... That's the other big thing. They added the playoff system to this. Now, this may take me a while. So if you could think of anything, now is a perfect time that we could talk about whatever. You can ask me questions and whatnot. Because I want to see this playoff feature. And according to this, that's the first thing they mentioned on the list. College football playoffs. And all it's going to show is that last week of the season, of the bowl week season or whatnot, it's going to be those 2 teams, or those 4 teams, and then I guess the week after that will be the championship game. Here's an idea for the mod team. When off-season comes, and if you play the scrimmage game, you can play with 15 minutes, and whoever performs the best gets most boosted stat. There's no spring game in this game, so that ain't going to be able to help you much there. That's in 07, not in 06. Which doesn't hurt my feelings. I know some people like that spring game. The only good thing about the spring game in 07 is you get boosted stats like it is in 07, which is cool. But otherwise, the game itself was kind of a waste, so I didn't get too excited about it, or never did when I played it. What else? Let me look at my list. I'm sure there's something I may be missing. You can look at it here. And this may not be the definitive list. This is just what's current. Game fixes, that can mean anything. We looked at everything else. I've done my core thing. I just want to make sure. Added player jersey. We talked about that. So I don't know. Again, it may take another 5 minutes and it'll update itself. Let me come back over. So we'll do that. I want to look at the playoff thing, and then I'm going to save it. So I'll save the dynasty. Well, and then we're going to look at the... I don't think there'll be anything big or new in off-season. They're not supposed to be, not that I can think of. But anyway, this is cool. So by next... this took not as much time as I thought. We're only like 40 minutes in my live stream. And I was going to go through all the cool things they've added, but I've already kind of went through most of it. So I may actually spend some time going back into the rosters and maybe picking my new team. I had fun with Buffalo my 1 year, but I was, I'm mentally not in it for Buffalo anymore. And besides, I got the new mod. I'd rather just go fresh with this. I know offensively for the new dynasty, the transfer portal race, I guess you haven't been watching my dynasties. Last couple ones, I've been using that transfer mod. You get like 10 guys wanting to leave and 10 guys wanting to come in every year. So I've been using that. I kind of know what to expect there. Offensively, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with Fance in terms of... I think it's not going to be a pro-style offense per se, but I want to get more into... using a halfback to run the ball more, not catch the ball as much. I want to get bigger running backs. I want to run more around and between the tackles. I want to have a more sophisticated passing attack than what I was using. The offense I was using with Buffalo, it was fine. I had fun with it. It would have been more fun if I had a quarterback that could throw a little bit better. I could have done more things in the passing game. But I was throwing short a ton. The whole offense went through McDuffie. And for good reason. I thought I made the right decision to do that. We won more games because of it. But I want to do other things. I want to add more concepts and such. So I kind of have an idea in mind of what I want to do there. Defensively, I may just go back to 4-3. The 4-2-5 was fine. It done its job. I like the 4-3 better. I got more versatility in certain things. Now, one thing I would like to do defensively is I'm going to control some different players. I think about maybe controlling a cornerback. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that'd be a whole lot of fun. So your team you want to play with is Alabama. Not really. I mean, Alabama last year, their leading receiver was their halfback. That tells you, and I don't want to do that. How big Jerome Bettis or Jamal Lewis size? I'll take either one. I want big dudes. I just love the idea of just crashing into people and running people over instead of him catching the ball a lot. I want to have a vertical run game. I want to do a lot of just pretty much nothing but handoffs. I want to do dive, slam, counter, halfback off tackle, and that's it. Cornerbacks are fun. That's the way I used to play Madden. Yeah, Castle, I want to try that. That's going to be an interesting challenge because half the time you can't even see yourself while the game's going. Jamal Lewis, he was the man. I grew up watching that dude play. He was awesome. Mike Allstott, yes, I'd love to have him of some sort. I'm curious, though. I hope they updated the halfback size. I didn't notice. I didn't see a whole lot of humongous halfbacks. So I'm going to have to go find guys that are just really strong and not try to find somebody who's super big unless I can find them. We'll see. Yeah, big Ron Dane. That would be really cool. Just somebody who just goes up the gut, who finds defenders to run over. That's what I want to do. And I want a passing game to complement that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. because I want to get back to doing some more complicated passing stuff. Everybody knows me well enough. I enjoy passing. I love attacking coverages and reading defenders. I just really love that stuff. And I want to get back and add more complicated stuff to that. I think that'll complement my run game. And I also want to do more play action, real play action. No offense to PE reads, RPOs. I want to do old school play action, the stuff that's not the easiest thing to do in this game. I may end up having to moving somebody. Yeah, I'm just curious. I'll have to go back and look. But I don't think there's not a ton of huge running backs, but I'm not too worried about that. As long as they're strong, we can break tackles. Vertical passing would be great for a power running game. That's kind of my thinking. We'll just see how that goes. I want to do more. There's certain routes I don't throw to as often as I would like to. I want to do more risky routes. I want to throw to more risky routes. Curls are risky in this game. They're high risk, high reward. No, oh, did it freeze? Dang it, it froze on me. So I've been told this is what happens. This can happen if you don't save it. So I guess we're not going to see the postseason, so that's no big deal. So what we're going to do so it freezes. Yeah, okay. So we're going to back out. I'm going to go here. I'm going to boost ISO. We'll just set it back up again. That's no big deal. I was told that's one of the problems with the new mod. It freezes if you sim a lot. So in the off season, what I have to do is I need to save often. But I'm not a simulation guy, so this shouldn't be a problem for me. But doing that for an entire season, like I was trying to do there, yeah, it's probably going to freeze on me. So I'm not too worried about that. Again, that's not what I do. So we're not going to look at the playoff stuff. Let's just assume it's in there. I think I've seen a picture of it. I think it's on their website. I think it's on one of their posts. You can see that. So here's what I'm thinking. I want to go over to game features. Now that I got plenty of time, again, I went through all that pretty quickly. I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at which teams I'm winning and what I'm going to do. And you're going to see my process of this. The last time you saw me do this, when I picked Buffalo, people kind of watched me kind of how I went about finding teams I want to do. Somebody quickly. It doesn't matter. I'm okay with picking a non-Power 5 school to start off with. Do a typical rebuild like that. Or should I pick a terrible Power 5 school? Once I know what I want to do then I can quickly look at those rosters and kind of get an idea of kind of what I want to do. So anybody out there who's willing to put something out there, just let me know and we'll go from there. I'm good either way. You know, you always have the possibility of your team never making it to a Power 5 conference if they don't get invited. About to get some Chipotle and head home. Leaving Ole Miss on. Terrible Power 5 school. Okay. I just wouldn't... I was going to pick one of the two. I'm not going to do an FCS school. I'm not doing an FCS school. I'm not doing an FCS school. I want to play with the FBS rosters some. I could do an FCS school if you want, but it's those old 06 rosters or 05. I really don't care about those. For at least this dynasty, I want to pick somebody terrible. Now, here's another thing I'll go ahead and tell you. What's the quickest way to do this? Let me go over to maybe dynasty mode. This may be a way to do it. Eastern Michigan. Okay, is everybody kind of thinking a non-Power 5 school? I saw one person say just a bad Power 5 school. I wanted to see the program prestiges. I just wanted to look. Okay, so everybody's kind of thinking like a non-Power 5 school. Okay, that's fine. So this is an FBS school. So maybe like Texas State. They're 2-star. I'm going to go a 1 or a 2-star, but I just at least... Let me just write down Texas State. No, it'll take too long for me to write all those down. There's going to be a bunch of them. Colorado Buffaloes, B Coach Prime. No thanks. Prime's fine, but he can have his. I wonder if he's in the game, by the way. Let's look that up. No, he won't. This is the 22 rosters. That's right. He's not in here. It'd be cool if he was. I hope everybody's not lagging behind. It's weird. I'm looking at the screen now. And I'm like way off from what I'm seeing earlier. And I thought that was really weird. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he's not in here. You go over to Colorado. It's probably going to be... Oh my gosh, they put him in there. He is in there. That's pretty cool. There he is. He don't have his hat on. Anyway, that's pretty neat. So I'm going to back out. I'm going to go over to rosters. Again, I'd rather do an FBS roster. Plus, you can keep up with the records and such. Let's go over to the A's. I would only do Air Force if I was doing triple option. Sorry, Castle, I don't want to do triple option now. What I would like to do, the way I usually do this Dynasty stuff, I do the exact opposite of the previous offense I ran before. And since this one's going to be kind of a pro style in a sense, the one after that, I think I'd really like to do a triple option offense of some sort. It's just been a while since I've done it. But I got some pro style stuff on my mind that I'd like to do. So I won't do Air Force. You can forget Alabama. Appalachian State, I want to look at their all. They got some decent talent. Biggest thing I want to look at is, do they have a halfback that's kind of big enough? Like, that guy's got some strength to him. I need to figure out where I want to play in terms of geographical region. I can stay up in the Northeast because I didn't do a whole lot with Buffalo. I want to stay away from the Southeast. I've been doing a lot of South and Southeast for a while. I do like a team like UMass. So let me go through here. I'm not going to do Appy State. I'm going to do, it looks like everybody kind of likes me doing a non-Power 5 school. So I'm going to stay away from Arizona, although that would be a good option if you want to do a terrible Power 5 school. Let's keep going. Arkansas State, that's South, Baylor. Boise, they're probably already decent. Yeah, they got some decent players already. Has huge backs. Like Boston College, there you go. Here's halfbacks. They got your normal size dudes. This guy's pretty decent size. I'm not going to do Buffalo. BYU, I think they got them as a Big 12 school now. Forgive me, I haven't kept up with my conference realignment stuff lately. I don't know who's where anymore. UMass actually may be an FBS school now. If they had updated FCS rosters, I would look at maybe doing an FCS school. But again, these are brand new rosters for the FBS. I'd rather fool with those. Charlotte may be a good one. Yeah, that's in the South. I don't want to do that one. Cincinnati, they're in the Big 12 now. Clemson, Coastal, that's in the South. Colorado State may be a decent one. Oh, look at that. They have no talent whatsoever. Oh, my gosh. Look at this kid right here. This kid is a beast. We're never going to put it down Colorado State. I don't think I've ever done a dynasty in Colorado before. So they don't have a whole lot of talent. As you can see, their best players are 82, 82, and 82. But their best player is 6 feet 240. So if you go to their halfback, 240, 200, 210, 220. So they got some dudes. Some of these guys aren't super strong, but I can work from that. And I bet they got some... Yes, they got pocket passers too. That's good. So that's a good candidate right there. I think that'll be a good one. I assume Colorado State is still in the Mountain West. I could be dead wrong. So I'm going to put them down. Duke, I've already done Duke. Let me get back out. Let me go all. ECU, that's in the South. Fresno's really good. You look at all these players. 94, they had a really good season this past year. Colorado, yeah, Edward, I think you're right. That'd be a decent scheme fit. I'm not going to do them. That's in the South. Georgia State is a new FBS school. That's pretty neat. Georgia Tech, Hawaii, Houston. Houston should be already really good. Yeah, they got some guys in the 90s. Illinois, that would be a decent one if I want to do the Power 5 terrible team. Indiana, I've already done Indiana. I've done a huge dynasty with them several years back. That was a fun one. Iowa State, Jacksonville State, that's in the South. James Madison, I would consider Virginia and upper. That's not South enough. So James Madison, look at all these tight ends they got. Gee whiz. I'll write them down. I'll just look at their roster a little bit later. I'm not going to pick tonight or anything unless something just really speaks to me. James Madison would be a good one. Kansas would be an ideal terrible Power 5 school. I can go ahead and write those down over here if I wanted to go that route. I'm not opposed to doing that, doing the Power 5 route. Arizona, Kansas, I may have to go back and look at some of those other ones. So we got James Madison, Kansas State. Gee whiz, look at some of their players. They got a bunch of guys in the 90s. Maybe it's because, no, they just got some good players. They had a really good season, which is understandable. Kent State, we could do the MAC thing again. I don't mind that. I can go ahead and write them down. Just for the sake, I love their uniforms. I love that blue and yellow. I think it looks really slick. Kentucky, no. Liberty, I'll look at Liberty just because they're Virginia. And you look at their talent. They got some guys in the 80s. I wonder how big their halfbacks are. 205, 175. Look at these two guys. 230, 230. Look at their strength. All these guys are weak as sauce. That's going to be the big thing, finding guys who are really strong in that new offense. Let's keep going. LSU, Marshall is a possibility. They got some decent talent. I go ahead and put them down. I prefer to get a team that's a 2-star like we're below. Maryland, that's Memphis, no. Miami, Michigan, Michigan State. MTSU, I've done that with 07, and they're in the South, so I'm not going to, but I've done that little one with 07. That was okay. Minnesota, Mississippi State, Missouri, Navy. Navy if I was doing triple option, maybe. You got NC State, Nebraska, Nevada. Nevada's a possibility. I can go. I think they're in the Mountain West now. You can look at their halfback situation. Wow, look at that dude. 5'9", 235 pounds. That is a brute, to say the least. Okay, let's keep going. New Mexico. I don't think I want to... we can go ahead and write them down. They got 2 good, strong safeties. That tells me they could probably run a 4-2-5. Let me just write them down. North Texas, I don't consider that South. Yeah, anything west of the Mississippi River, I'm willing to look at. Northern Illinois would be a pretty decent one. They got them at Conference USA. I'll just keep going. Northwestern, Notre Dame, absolutely not. Ohio, they're always terrible. I'll definitely put them down. Oklahoma State. Old Dominion would be a pretty decent one. They got a really good tight end. Gee whiz. Look how many strong safeties they got. 80, 80, and 78. Some decent ones for them, I guess. Look at their halfback situation. 193, 197. A bunch of smaller dudes. None of them are very strong. I'll put them down anyways. Old Dominion. Ran the 4.25 in the 2000s. Let's go here. Ole Miss, Oregon, Oregon State, Penn State. I'm not looking at the Power 5 stuff too hard. Even though I still may do that, unless if people really want me to. Old Dominion's of Virginia, that's correct. Purdue. Rice is a possibility. I think they are triple option all the way, aren't they? They don't have any super fast quarterbacks. They got some bigger dudes. I may do it. Rice is a good option if people don't mind me playing in Texas. That'd be a good option. They got some fullbacks as well. They are pro style. Look, they got some slow fullbacks. And my offense may have some fullback formations in it. I'm not really sure. I haven't thought that far ahead. My original plan was kind of doing something like the Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts offense, and that kind of led into what I'm thinking here. So it'd be kind of similar to that in a sense. Rice currently runs a pro style. Okay. Thanks, Edward. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Rice, Colorado State. So I think that'd be a decent option. Normally, I'm just going to, again, I'm not trying to find a super difficult dynasty situation. That's not what I'm about. You can do that. I care more about showing you just playbook stuff, ideas, how I like to go about doing things. Yes, I'd like a chance like anybody else, but I don't need God mode either. Otherwise, I just go with an FCS school every time and add 800 restrictions. I just don't want to do that. Season ready Packers in the draft. Oh, Chris, don't get me started about the draft. I could talk about the draft forever in a day. Can I see the Vols roster a little bit later, or go back and no, you can go back and look at that if you need to. It's all pretty accurate. Sam Houston State is an FBS school. I think that's really neat. I'm gonna go just kind of look here. They got one guy 6 feet 225, 185. They got one decent senior halfback. I'm gonna put them down. That's a pretty cool one, just because they're new. They were in the original game, but as an FCS school. Let's keep going. San Diego State. Now, they got pretty decent amount of talent. Quarterback. Who's going to pick? Probably who's got the first pick right now? Oh, geez. Houston. Is that right? Does Houston got the first pick? I think they'll probably that's who they'll take. It's going to be back and forth between him, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. I think all of those guys are going to go in the top 10 at least. Not San Jose State. It's SMU. I've done the SMU thing. South Alabama, that's in the South. I'm not going to do that. Southeast, I should say. Southern Miss, no. Stanford, Syracuse, TCU, Temple. Temple, this was the other team I was looking at before. I'll go ahead and write them down before I picked Buffalo. And as you can tell, there's not much talent there. They got one guy that's an 85 and a bunch in the 80s. And they got a bunch of really good tight ends. They got 3 guys in the 80s. None of them are very fast. Halfback-wise, they got some dudes. They got some size. They don't have any fullbacks, so I have to do a lot of ace stuff, a lot of 11 personnel and whatnot. Carolina's got the first pick. That's right. From the yes, that's right. Tennessee. Okay, somebody mentioned Tennessee. What do you need to say quickly before I move on? They're all in there, to say the least. I mean, I looked at it earlier. It all looked pretty accurate. Let's go. Texas State. I'm going to put them down. That's a new FBS school. I'm not even going to look at their halfbacks. I can look at that later. Troy, that's Southeast. Tulsa. Tulsa's got pretty good talent. I'll probably leave them alone. UAB, UCF, UCLA, UConn. That would be an interesting one. Of course, I'll put them over here. Are they still technically... Are they in the Conference USA now? They may actually be a non-Power 5 school. I think they are now. Their football program is so irrelevant. I'm not a big UConn fan, but anyway, I put them down anyways. No, UNLV. I've already done UNLV a couple years back. Utah State's an option. Looks like their two best players are quarterbacks. That's interesting. I'll put their name down, though. Didn't the Cowboys pick Derrick Henry from Tennessee Titans? I don't think they did, unless something happened today that I'm not aware of. Cancel Pittsburgh. If I wanted to do again, I think Pittsburgh's like really talented. I prefer probably not to pick a team that's got too much talent. I like a little bit of a rebuild. I can go back and look at it. They got a bunch of guys in the 90s. Look at them, and go back and watch Pittsburgh's defense last year. Really good. With Tennessee, we played them. We got through that, got the win. But look at their best players, all defensive guys. They got a really good defense to start off with. All right, let me go back. Let's see, where were we? We were somewhere around through here. Utah State. Okay, this is another one. All their uniforms look pretty cool. UTSA. And I think they got some decent talent. Oh, they do got a lot of talent. I'm going to mark them off. That'd be a little bit too easy. We got multiple guys in the 90s. Yeah, I'm not going to pick them. They had a really good season this year, or this past year. Vandy, no. Virginia, that's the first game Tennessee's got this year. Wake Forest, that's Dave Clawson. Washington, got some good teams. I love their new coach. I think he's doing some good things there. Washington State, West Virginia, Western Kentucky. I've done a Kentucky one before. I've done that with Morehead State. That was cool. Or Murray State, sorry. That was a pretty cool dynasty. Western Michigan's a possibility. They got some decent talent. Eastern Michigan was another one. I forgot to write that down earlier. I can go back and look at them a little bit later. This one may be a decent one as well. Wyoming. Wyoming's a good one too. That'd be a pretty neat one. So I got like 20 teams listed there. I'll go back in my own time and kind of look, and I'll just pick a team and just kind of go from there. I just want at least a little something that kind of fits the offense, just kind of get the ball rolling. I see nothing wrong with that. And there was just some creative schools I had to do for other projects. Army, no, just because they're running triple and I'm not running triple. And no, I'm not running Navy, I'm not running Air Force. If I was doing triple, I'd probably pick one of those and do one of those military school type dynasties where I'd have some extra restrictions. They are banning the triple option. Are they really? Did Munkin leave? Interesting. I didn't know they was abandoning that. Tell me more. Their head coach didn't leave, did he? Are they just getting tired of the option? Oh, yeah. Army's not even in here on the... Did you notice? They're like an FCS school. So if you go over to... might have been Navy. Oh, yes. It's Navy. Yeah. They shouldn't have fired the coach, but I think they finally got rid of him. I guess they just got tired of it. Yes, that is Navy. That is correct. They're the ones who got a new coach. I don't know who they got, though. I don't know if they moved, got somebody else. Ken, yeah. He got fired. So if you go over to here, are they over here? See, Army, they moved them down. Again, they had to move some stuff around, just kind of make it work as best they could. So I'd have moved Army back over. So if you went over, this is one thing I didn't think about. If you go over to game features, I'm glad you mentioned this. You go over to Army. It's my bad. FCS roster. They don't have any Army players on here. I think what it is I think I goofed up. I know what I did wrong here. I need to reset my 1AA rosters. That's what it is. That's why there's nothing in here. I still kept my old 1AA rosters. That's why you don't see any Army players on here. I can fix that later. Anyway, I'm not going to pick Army for a dynasty or nothing, but I'll go back and change that later. I need to go write a note for that. I'll just do 1AA rosters. I'll do that sometime this weekend and fix that. I'm sure that's what that is. I didn't think about that. So yeah, I know Navy's getting a new coach. All right, so I got a bunch of names there. I'm not going to go through the FBS stuff or the terrible Power 5 teams. I think I'll probably just pick another non-Power 5 school. I think we'll just go with that. It's fine. What is Joe Milton's throwing power? I'm sure it better be a 99. If it ain't, I'll get upset or I'll just fix it one or the other. FBS roster, Joe Milton, 99. There you go. That wasn't me, but I assume that came from the NCAA 14 crew. So that's a 99 throw power, as it should be. So again, I'm pretty sure I know in the Castle, I promise you, I just don't have triple option on my mind at the moment. But the next dynasty after that of some sort, or if I move, I thought about, and I may put this in a community post, I haven't decided. Some people have asked me, and everybody here that's in here already can chime in. Some people have asked me to do a dynasty that's with the same coach all the way through, like go break coaching records and such. If I did that, that means I would switch out teams every so often, and I'd pick like a new offense. I'd go to another team and just do something completely different, but use the same dynasty file. It doesn't really matter which way I go with that. I can do brand new dynasty or stick with the same one. Neither here nor there. But either way, Castle, I promise you, I may do some triple in the next one. But right now, I just got too many pro style stuff on my mind. There's Marcus Russell, Byron Leftwich. I agree. I'm here to tell you, anybody who hasn't seen Joe Milton throw a football, he can throw it fast and he can throw it far. Now, at times he may not be able to hit his target, but sometimes he can. Sometimes he's super accurate. It'll be interesting to see how well he does this year. All right, I don't know what else to show you. I've kind of went through everything I needed to see. It's only been an hour, honestly. Just a little over. I mean, I would like to have seen the playoff thing, but I know what it looks like. I know what to expect there. And with off-season, they didn't change a whole lot there, off-season-wise. Yeah, Castle, that's one of the reasons I don't do a whole lot of triple, because whenever I run triple option, I tend to run triple every other play, and that's just, I guess I get bored with that. I guess I need a little variety. And unfortunately, and I'll go ahead and show you, I've tried my best. We'll go over to game features, go to playbooks, audibles. I've tried my best to update certain full flexbone plays. I need to go back and let me pick the Navy playbook or the Army or whatever. Let me go. Okay. I'm going to pick Navy. I'm going to look at some flexbone stuff. I'm going to get to my point. We'll go to Navy. There we go. I'm going to back out. I don't want to save it. I'm going to go to audibles. No. Audibles. Is it going to do it? There we go. Audibles. So what I was going to do is, what I mentioned, another reason why I didn't want to do a whole lot of triple options, because the flexbone triple, I've done a lot of that SMU. The triple stuff works fine. All that works really good. It's the wingback stuff. Now, I got this. I renamed some of this. BB option, SB option. I need to change that fullback counter. I thought I fixed that. The A-back option. It's these right here, these handoffs. Lead and around. For whatever reason, they still don't work super well. I've made them a little bit better. I made sure the guards played as best as they could. But Castle, my biggest problem with triple is I think I just get bored just running the same four concepts over and over and over again. It's just not for me. I'd like to get into it, but I'd have to have a little bit more variety. I'd like to have some rocket toss, some midline option to go along with my basic triple option and my counter and such. If that was in this game, I would probably do more of it. Otherwise, you know me, I just like to pass and do other more traditional schemes. But that's just me. Everybody's different. And again, I know you're a big triple option guy, but maybe one day I'll get back around to doing it. All right, does anybody have any questions anymore? I don't know what else to show you. I've kind of made up my mind. I'm not going to bore you all trying to pick a team. I'll do that in my own time. Again, I listed like 20 different teams there. The two that really stood out to me was Colorado State. I'll go ahead and do this now. Colorado State and Rice. I'm going to go look at Colorado State really quick. For whatever reason, that team just kind of spoke to me. I think they kind of fit what I wanted to do. And I've never done a dynasty in the state of Colorado before. I'm going to go over here. We'll go Colorado State. I want to do a stadium preview. I know what I wanted to look at was the uniforms. Here's what I want to look at. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I like running in this game, so I never get bored. I enjoy running, too. I just don't enjoy running triple option over and over again. With a dynamic athlete, there's always a chance you juke a defender, take one to the house. Yeah, I agree. But, again, it's the concepts. It's not running in general. You know, a lot of my dynasties, I spend at least half the time running the ball. I just need more running concepts to play with and not just triple every other play. The way some triple option coaches, if they could run triple every play, they would. Chew clock, super aggressive on fourth downs and stuff. Okay, so here are their uniforms. That looks pretty cool. The standard ones. That looks pretty neat. They got alternates. That looks pretty neat. I think I'd maybe try to go with that. I want to go back here. I want to do a stadium preview really quick. See what this looks like. I'm going to zoom out. That's pretty neat. It's your standard Colorado State stuff. They got the logo. It's the color, too. The color's their own state color. That's pretty cool. Also, pretty cool looking stadium. Pretty simple. Nothing special. It's a horseshoe. I think that's a pretty good option. I ain't going to look at their roster. Whatever reason, I think their roster kind of fit what I was wanting to do, but they weren't super excellent. The ball was entertaining. It's like Poet. Yeah, Coastal Carolina's offense is neat, but they do a bunch of different stuff together. RPOs and triples and just a lot of weird stuff to combine that. Did you have fun with that concept, or you just not throwing it deep enough? The screen stuff was pretty cool. I don't know. You can't just screen people all the time. You got to add some other stuff with it. I didn't mind the screen, like my halfback screens that I created. I had plenty of options to go over the top if need be. That was pretty cool, but there's only so much screening you can do, if that makes sense. Like, you just can't have a screen offense. That's why you've never seen a team out there ever do that. So it's hard to focus on that unless you just made that strictly your short passing game. Not your average gamer. This is the emulator on the PC. This is the PCSX2 emulator. Welcome in, Zach. The other one was Rice. I'm going to go over to Rice. I know what they're... This was the other one. I'm going to go and change these out. Rhode Island? Oh, I think they're FCS. I'm going to look at... Oh, we can just do it from here. That's not a big deal. So let's go. I'm going to preview this. I wonder if they still got the AstroTurf in here. I could probably change that out if they don't use it anymore. They still got the AstroTurf, which I actually think is pretty cool. Now, they got a really big stadium. That looks, for a future long-term dynasty, it makes sense to use a team like Rice. They got a big stadium to get you excited about, to try to fill that stadium up. Kind of no different than what I was doing with my Tulane dynasty. I'll go check out their uniforms pretty quick. Rice is awful. Could always do them as well. Also, Texas for recruits said that'll help. It's been a while since I've done a Texas dynasty. When's the last... have I ever done one for this channel? I don't remember. Let me back out. Let me look at their uniforms. I bet they look good. Just the all blue. Nothing outlandish there. White. And they got an alternate. They got a gray. That looks pretty slick. Anyway, that's kind of what they look like. It's not bad. Again, I got a bunch of other teams I listed. I'll go through them tomorrow or Saturday. My goal is to have the first preseason, the first video for the Dynasty up Sunday at the absolute latest. SMU, that's right. Yes, my SMU triple option Dynasty. I've done that for, 4 seasons, and I moved on. I went over to, Mississippi State, maybe. I went somewhere. I know, it's hard to keep up with a lot of that stuff. SMU in Texas, yeah. So... I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll just pick some team that just feel right. Biggest thing is, do they look cool, and that they got just a little bit that kind of fits what I want to do out of the gate. And that's kind of what I want to go with. Are you doing a dynasty on this mod? Sorry, just got here. Yeah, this is the whole point of me doing all this, just so I can start a dynasty with the mod itself. One more thing out for the mods, they increase the weather likeness to locations for certain teams. I don't know that. Both. Oh, is that a question or you know that for sure? Yeah, you asked that. You said it in a question. I don't know if they changed that or not. I couldn't tell you. Them and TCU are pretty much 10 minutes away from each other. Yeah, Dallas. Yeah. That's kind of it. I don't know what else. I mean, if I had something else to show you or anything, I would. I have no point of playing a game or nothing. I don't know what else I need to point out. But that was the whole point. I just wanted to hang out with you guys. Just kind of get back mentally into playing again. I'm glad I was able to take a couple weeks off from just fooling with some of that. I just needed a bit of a break. And thankfully this mod will kind of get me my juices flowing again in terms of my creativity and kind of what I want to do. So I'm looking forward to all of that. All right, any last words, prayer requests, anything? And I think I may just head out. Impact tackle. What are the mods to fix that? It's a question. I would like the mods to fix that. That I don't know if they have or not. You just need to go on Discord, on their Discord server, and just ask them. Love the live stream. Looking forward to new dice. Did you pick a team? Zach, not yet. I got a list. Looks like I'm going to pick a non-Power 5 school, like we normally do. And I got a list here, and I'll pick one of them. I don't know which one. All right, minute 16. It's been a short stream, but I don't know what else to show you. Otherwise, I'll do more stuff. Is this version better than revamped? It depends if you like 06 or 14 better. It's all just makeup in the grand scheme of things. That's all revamped is. They just updated rosters and textures and uniforms and such. They didn't change a whole lot gameplay-wise. Same with this mod. Not a lot of stuff has changed. Now, they did add the accelerated game clock, but it just depends, Zach, if you're... Not Zach, if not your average gamer, if you're into 06 or 14. I'm not going to go into a big spiel, but I'll just be blunt about it. For me, 06 is better. That's why I play 06. Other than Tennessee, who do y'all enjoy watching? I watch college football just nonstop. I'm completely useless as a human to society when fall hits. It's football is just on my mind so hard. I'll watch anybody. I like watching. It just depends on who's playing, what teams are running which schemes. I tend to keep up with coordinators across the country and what, especially offense. I'm an offensive guy. Everybody kind of knows this by now. I just enjoy that more. It's just kind of whoever's on. I watch anybody and everybody. Let's see. Prayer request for our country and the Gators figuring out the quarterback situation spring game tonight. That is tonight. It starts right now. It's at 7:30, isn't it? Is that correct? Does this start right now? I think it's a good stopping point. I was going to watch that tonight. Yes, their spring game is on tonight. I hate Florida. I don't wish ill will on them. But hopefully they really struggle at finding a quarterback for the next several years, and they'll end up getting a new head coach in about 2 more years. I've been falling back on NBA basketball. Don't get me started on NBA. Yeah, it's not very good for me. I wish I could get back into NBA 2K. I thought that was kind of fun. I just don't have time to do a full franchise and whatnot, even though that's kind of what I wanted to do. And with NBA 2K23, my favorite mode is my player mode or my career, whatever it's called, and it's so microtransaction heavy that I can't play it. And apparently it takes you like so many hours just to get your player up to where you want him to be without spending money. And it's a shame 2K has forced us to do that. You pretty much got to spend money to get your player better. So that's my rant on NBA 2K. All right, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to go ahead and watch a little spring game of Florida. It ain't going to show me a whole lot, but at least it's some college football of some sort. All right, thanks to everybody who came in tonight, and I'll talk to you later.